see me smoke
We
nicotine
hit our
and shit.
pens
Okay.
all the time.
I got
my pens on nicotine.
I got my Puffco Peak right here.
I got my weed, my nicotine. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, there's no fire involved. That's the beauty of it. All right.
Exactly.
Right?
So, dude, Hibbeler, I've been listening to you for quite some time now on multiple different avenues. I kind of wanted to talk about a lot of different things. We were watching Level With Me, big thing. For those that don't know who you might be, would you mind describing yourself?
Sure, yeah. I'm Sean Hibbeler from Hibbeler Productions. Thank you for having me on. Hello to your wonderful audience. I am a filmmaker on the topics that places like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, they don't want you to know about certain topics. You know, when people speak of anything regarding Earth or where we live, or they speak of regarding the coronavirus or, you know, the pandemic, or it's like, you know, there's films that need to be made for our society to wake up, and establishments like Netflix and Amazon and Hulu, as we all know, they're not going to allow any type of film that really touches any truth to be, you know, broadcasted to the masses. So it's a struggle because I'm going against a niche. It's basically a niche community of which is growing, as we all know, by the millions and millions and millions and millions of awakened souls that are tired of the lies, that are looking for other alternative routes to figure out information and structure and find their own truth and figure out what rabbit hole is going to be best for them to figure out the world they live in. I just try to bring it to the attention of the masses. I don't really necessarily make films based on, I mean, for the audience of the awakened per se, or the ones that know. It's not for you. You could watch it, you could enjoy it, you might learn something. I used to try to have something exclusive in my films that you didn't know. So, but at the same time, it's for your neighbor, it's for your cousin, it's for your aunt, it's for the people that think you're a lunatic. I make the films to benefit them. I make it, when I'm producing the film, it's for your neighbor, the one that thinks you're stupid. I represent the truth in that format of how can I produce a film that not only has information and knowledge and wisdom obtained, because that's the most important thing we can obtain in life is wisdom, but it's more about the shock value, the that Hollywood-esque entertainment feel of a film, opposed to, hey, there's a 2-hour slideshow on YouTube explaining this. It's super boring. Do you think that cousin of yours is going to really sit down and do that? No. So it's very hard to wake people up. And I see what they did, the powers that be, and how they attack terms like flat earth, or they attack terms, they hijack it, and they give the masses a whole nother approach, a whole nother feel for when the masses hear, oh yeah, flat earth, there's one person in every family that thinks the earth's flat, right? So it's like, oh yeah, my lunatic cousin, he's a flat earther. Yeah, they're stupid. They think we're a disc in space and we're floating around and it's so retarded. Yeah, that is retarded. That sounds really retarded. And that's what they did. The masses, they made sure that the truth doesn't spread like wildfire, which it was doing in 2015. It was going viral. So they had to change all the algorithms. So when you type in flat earth on YouTube, you get nothing but BBC, you know, Comedy Central skits, how to debate a flat earther. Well, I'm looking at flat earth sunsets, search, same results. Okay, backspace, flat earth documentary, search, the same results. So I'm like, flat earth proof, same results. Why do I see Neil deGrasse Tyson on every search result? Well,
that's because he got caught up with some sexual assault stuff that recently came up, and so if you want that to disappear, you got to play the game.
Yeah, it's not only that though; it's damage control. They know how many people they knew. Not even us. It's probably way more than we expected. They knew how many people in America specifically. I'll just pick on, because the world was even bigger. In America, there's flat Earth search. They know. They see it. They're like, holy 100%. Shit, it's in the billions. And you can look, you don't believe me, you can look right now, just for example, TikTok. We'll pick on TikTok. People always go, oh man, they're trying to shut down TikTok, you know, from COVID or from vaccines. Nope, that has nothing to do with it. It's flat Earth.
and it's to control every other aspect of media aside from TikTok. But TikTok is involved in that as well.
Of course. And if you type in flat Earth in TikTok and don't hit search, you will see, I think.
Just huge.
3.2 billion with a B. So that's an issue. It's going to be an issue. And that TikTok is losing their minds because it's all over the place. I even see my film, people clip clips from my films and just 2 million views on each one. I'm like, who are these? And these are little accounts. It's because they're not shadow banned. If I upload it, I get 100 views. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. For me, it's like the more I learn, the less I know. And so I honestly don't know what it is. I almost like, what if it's a Mobius, a one flat plane that you know what I mean? And loops, like that's why you would have ships that disappear here and reappear here or such, you know what I mean? And not only that, but like we're human beings, and we are limited as to what we can perceive. And so I've mentioned it before, but it's like, as a human being, I can only perceive matter, really. And matter only comprises 8% of all the universe. Yeah. So how much more is there that I am trying to understand and put in human words, human thoughts, and human intelligence? There's so much more there. Like to say that I know or I don't know, I mean, to say I don't know is all right, but to say I know is phallus. Like the first time, not phallus is not right, but the first time like I actually noticed flat earth for myself after like I had been listening and like Red Bull Stratus when they took up the balloon, and then you see they have the one that's got the fisheye lens while he's going up to the stratosphere. Then they have when he exits the thing and he's got a different camera, and it's like, bro, everything's flat. He's jumping from the stratosphere and everything's flat. Like they had the fisheye before he got there, but when he got there and stepped out of the door, it was a completely different camera. And so that for me was like, yo, everybody check this out. I don't know what it is, but I'm just telling you, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that's kind of the go-to thing now for the modern society. Like, no, there is a curve. Remember Red Bull? And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, okay. So they go up 23 miles with a fisheye lens attached. They have the indoor camera that shows not only is it hilarious how you can screenshot Felix Baumgartner as he's getting into the capsule. You can see the camera, the same inside camera looking outside, right? So he's coming into the capsule, and you see that they're on the ground. They're on ground level before they take off. You see the horizon in front of them, okay? And then you compare that shot with the shot of him opening the capsule from the inside in the sky. The horizon's at the same level, meaning the horizon rose all the way to his eye level. So it never shifted. It never moved. It never dipped. Yeah. There's no curvature.
They kind of edited it funny, too. Like when he first opens the door, the fisheye lens catches the curvature because it's the fisheye lens within. But then once he steps out of the door and you see a separate camera with its own angle, it's flat. Completely flat. Yeah.
And then Neil deGrasse, because we pushed the bar so hard in 2016, 2017, 18, when did that happen? Whenever that happened, flat earthers were all over it, just exposing it all every day. Like, what kind of fisheye lens shit? Is that Planet New Mexico? How do you have this giant curve of the earth? When you look at that whole curve and you follow the curve, you could draw a circle now. So you just drew the entire earth according to the curve. So that means that half the world is just a small city in New Mexico, apparently. So people just didn't even realize, like, hey, look at that curve down there. Hey, that's a river. What river is that? Oh, that's like a 10-mile river in New Mexico. And it's like, how is that on half of the world? So, and then he went up, and then he was up there for a while, and I thought the earth was supposed to be rotating underneath him, but then he ended up landing in the same spot. So I don't, it's hilarious. Yeah. We made Neil deGrasse Tyson actually go out of his way on public TV, and they brought up the Red Bull jump, and he says he had to. He couldn't go, yeah, that's the curve. He already knew that it was already outed. We exposed the shit out of that. So he goes, I don't have a problem with him doing it, but I do have a problem with the perception of this giant curve. There's no curve from that high up. You got to be much higher. And then Branson went up 63 miles And here comes Neil again, coming in on the news. Damage control again. The news is like, look at the curve of the Earth, Neil. And Neil goes, no. 63 miles? No, there's no curve. That's all flat. That's a fisheye lens.
Yeah. So, okay, so how high do we have to go to get some sort of perception?
Well, when we were little, we were told that it's only out of a 15, 20,000 mile, 30,000 cruising altitude airplane. When we were little, we were taught the airplane, you could see the curve out of the window. And what's funny is when you look out of your window, people swear, oh, yeah, they can see that curve, that slight curve of the
window's domed.
I know, it is the window.
Yeah.
But pretend it wasn't, just for sake of the argument.
Yeah, for
pretend
sure.
it wasn't the actual window, which it is. That means that when you go up to the window and you draw that curve of your window, now you go to the row in front of you's window. You draw the same curve over that window. So now the Earth is shaped like a bunch of McDonald's logos going around the Earth, because it should be, if it was real, a giant curve that you'd have to angle throughout the entire plane, throughout all the windows. You'd have to trace it curving.
Yeah, exactly. It would be so gradual.
Just their window had this curve for them, and it's like, okay, you're 30,000 feet, 35,000 feet at best. Okay, these guys are 5, 7, 8 times the height of that. And we got the science priest of modern times saying, oh, yeah, there's no curve. That's all flat from that high. You got to be way higher than 63 miles to see any type of curve. And it's like, okay, so knowing that human and civilians, society, we can't go past an airplane, maybe a private jet that goes 45,000 miles up in the air.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't have access to that. And that's been their MO. That's kind of why they get away with it for so long, is they know the public accepts, oh, we can't go up there. So whatever they say, yeah, for sure, they're not going to lie to us. And it's like, well, no, they've been lying the whole time. And if people knew why they were lying about where they live, then maybe they'd wake the fuck up. Because the problem is that there's nothing against Christians or the Bible or any religions, really. I don't follow any religion. I don't do any organized religions. I'm just a person of those are controlled by the same people that control everything, and they wanted to divert us 100 years ago, 200 years ago with religions. That's my research, okay? But in general, there is a creator. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And the creator did design this world, but the Bible thumpers piss me off the most because they don't want to talk about more land ever. And it's like, wait a minute, hold on. In the Bible, all right, God's book, if you're Christian, I have much love and respect. So I'm going to bring up your book now. Your book.
Please do. I was raised Christian, and so my close family, like, those are the ones that I'm like, hey, check it out. Look, I was raised Christian my whole life. If that's something doesn't fit there, if it gets you where you need to be, I'm all for it.
It's a guidebook, in my opinion. Yeah.
I'm not saying. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, like, and I commend people like Sean, because a lot of the things that opened my eyes to be like, okay, maybe there's a lot more that we don't see, is like, you guys opening up the doors to, like, hey, look, this is CGI. Do you really believe that people landed on the moon? Like, watch this now and look at the look at the graphics and like how terribly done it was filmed. And now watching that, I'm like, oh my gosh, we were totally lied to. And it opens up a door and you're like, okay, let me look a little bit further. And I think if people, especially Christians, look now and look back at all of the video footage of like the Earth from space or us landing on the moon and how cheesy it looks, you're going to be like, wait a minute, hold on. Let's question this a little bit more. This is definitely done somewhere in the studio.
That's why it's out of sight, out of mind for so many people, because you're taught this as a young kid. You're taught this in kindergarten. It's like you barely know how to spell, and they're like, hey, you live here. Bring the soul lure system home as a kid. Here's your solar system. Where are the planets? Where's the Earth in the center? Oh, no, it's not. It's the sun. Oh, okay, so you got an F because you put the fucking Earth. You're stupid, kid. So it's like the kid might be like, wait, I feel like everything's revolving around us, but he'll fail. So he's got to lie. He's got to accept it. And as a child, you already believe in Santa and the Tooth Fairy and all that shit. So you're easily susceptible to this lie. The problem is no one told the kid that it was a lie. They told him about Santa and the Tooth Fairy, I hope. And they never told him about the kids. So that's my job. That's why I get haters, because people are like, oh, dude, you're trying to take my ball away. Fuck you. And it's like, no, fuck you, because you're holding society back from not only exploration. And I was just talking to to Kristen Megan on my show, the chemtrail whistleblower, and she's on a flat earther, but she brought up a bunch of stuff that she's interested in this now because a lot of things weren't making sense. And it's like, look, when you're a truth seeker, you'll get there. Don't worry. But it's the cream of the crop, man. It's the top. It's the top of the rabbit holes because it literally exposes all the other psyops. And it shows you that there's a very high probability that there's hundreds of continents out there, guys. And we live on one of possibly hundreds of continents. Of course they're going to lie about the shape of the earth. Why wouldn't you take the 7 continents that everybody knows about, wrap it into a ball and say, hey, that's it. There's nothing else left to explore, Truman. Because here's the thing. That's a part of our human nature as children growing up. When we're born, we have certain traits. Just like during adolescence, what's your brain going through? Sexual thoughts, right? That's natural. That is human nature. You can't alter that. Well, I guess they chemically try to now, but you can't alter that naturally, okay? That's a human being. There's different modes we go in. But as a child and through our adult lives, there's one portion of our brain that has been restricted since birth, and that is exploration. There's absolutely no room in all of our minds right now, present day, for exploration. It doesn't even exist in our head. It doesn't even make sense to explore anything. What are you talking about? They told you in school everything's been explored. It's on this ball, and that little white stain on the bottom of that ball, you cannot explore. Don't go over there. Don't do anything over there. You shut the fuck up and pay your taxes. Now, when you open up that world and flatten it out, what's that white spot? The border of our world oceans.
I want to get into that. But I wanted to state something. You were talking about weather manufacturing, and like it makes so much more sense when it's a perpetual plane because all they're doing is painting grids over the entire sky, and they just continue to go. So if I finish here, like I live in Arizona, dude. You could see it all day long in the sky because we hardly get any clouds. And another thing too is like Christianity is solely based on faith, and like in Hebrews, I think it's like Hebrews 12 or Hebrews 13. It's like faith is the substance of things hoped for, with the evidence of things not seen. You're straight up programmed to just have faith in the system without even wanting to question it from the get-go. That's where I catch a lot of flack from my people that are like family that are devout is I'm like, well, if I plan to follow a system, why wouldn't I question everything about it to understand it fully? Yep. It makes complete sense to me. And then when they're like, well, they tell me, you hit that bong and you're at a different level of thought process than I am at. And I'm like, that makes no sense, even in that. Like, but, and we were talking about Antarctica. I didn't mean to stop you there, but I wanted to get into that because I know we have short time with you, and I wanted to get into if you could break down a little bit for those that don't know about Antarctica, and that's the stain referred to on the bottom of the globe, and a little bit into like the timeline with Captain Cook, and then enter Admiral Byrd, etc. Sure. Because you have a lot of. The thing I really like about your documentary is, like you said, it's not specifically for the person that knows or is in the know, but there's so much information that's shared in like within an hour time. Like I'm taking notes on like, where the hell can I even find this at? You know what I mean? And so even as somebody that knows, like Kiribati, since I heard about it from you, I've seen it appear in Google Chat and on Wikipedia and things like that, but it still makes no sense. So I want to touch on that quite a bit because that that's got me for a lot. But if we could go into Antarctica and Captain Cook like you were when I rudely interrupted you.
No, this is your show, man. I interrupt people on my show all the time.
It's all good.
Because, I look at my show like you're in my house, so I'm talking to you in my house, So I'm in your house, man. You can do whatever you want.
Even then, I'm still going to be like, here.
Yeah, and I'll still go. So, for me, Antarctica is the key to our world because it would unfold all the answers to our system. If I told you that this is what I want to do for your audience. Imagine a lake, okay? Just a lake. Anybody can imagine a lake. Just call it 5 miles. call it a 5 by 10 mile lake. Call it a circular type of lake, big lake. Everyone can imagine that lake, okay? And if you're in a helicopter, it's a level lake. It's flat, guys. You don't have to act like it's a world ocean now and make up curvature. So the lake's flat. It's settled there. And now put yourself in the center of that lake, okay? And call the center of that lake the North Pole. That's the center of the Earth. And if you go around the North Pole, so if this is the North Pole, in the center of that lake, everyone can imagine that little, put a tree there, okay? And you go around the stick, you just went a complete east and west circumnavigation, okay?
Yeah.
So you just circumnavigated that plot of land, or wherever you are on that, in that lake. You can circumnavigate a little part of the lake, or the entire lake, the entire outside of the lake, right? The entire outside of the lake would take a while, no? Yeah, so it would take a while. Then the little wrap around in the center of the lake, that took you 5 minutes to go around. The outside of that 5 by 10 or whatever mile lake's gonna take you a while to chart, is my point. But another reason I wanted to bring that up for your audience is, can you fall off of that lake that you're swimming in right now? Can you fall off?
No, you can just fall in.
Yeah, you climb up the basin, and that's containing the water. Water needs to be contained, always level, always maintains level. But it needs a container. You can't take a bath without the tub. The tub is the container of your water. Take the bathtub away, good luck with your bath. It's going to level out on your floor, and you're screwed. So this is how nature works. That lake that you just place yourself in, that everyone can go, okay, that makes sense. Well, we live in a giant lake, okay? It's called the world oceans. The world oceans are surrounded by a barrier, okay? I call it the ice shelves, ice barriers, around the entire world. And this is what Captain Cook did hundreds of years ago. He was the first guy to try to circumnavigate Antarctica. He couldn't get in by ship. Wonder why. Can't get in by ship because there's 200-300 foot ice shelves everywhere. There was no inland, at least at that time. Could have been due to the season he was in. But he charted, not me, guys, not me, not conspiracies.com. He charted publicly 68,000 miles to where he started from to where he got back to where he started from, and he couldn't get in.
Wow.
So if he charted 68,000 miles, I want to reiterate that for your audience. The equator of this fake globe, okay, the equator is 24,000 miles. That is the fattest, biggest portion you can measure of a ball.
It's like you went around the Earth 3 times.
I guess
just
so.
to, you know what I mean? Just about.
Just for Antarctica, apparently. That little stain on the bottom, I always call it a cum stain, but maybe not for you. The little cum stain on the bottom of the ball, that's supposedly, I mean, that should be a 8,000 circumference trip, right? Should have took him a month. No, it took him years, and he couldn't get in. So that operation was folded on. I don't know what happened from then until Byrd, but I do know that when Admiral Byrd got clearance, as far as I can remember, research, the first time there was clearance, military clearance, to fly over there. Okay, we're not going to try the ships again. That ship has sunk, pun intended.
Yeah. That was around like World War II, right? Because Japan had just flew the white flag, and so Byrd went from Japan south to Antarctica.
So, well, I think it was bigger than that.
Yeah.
I think it was literally, what the heck's over there? Okay.
Makes sense.
Because even, I mean, you know, with this new world that has started since who knows what happened in the mid-1800s, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But I know our false history is a false history for a reason.
Why is there so much Nazi activity in the southern seas?
Well,
why is that the biggest thing that they teach us in school too? They're like, let's focus
is
on
what?
That if there's a Nazi base in fucking Antarctica.
Yeah, well, that's another thing. That's another topic for another day. The Nazis in World War II. That official story is just like the moon landing to me. There's so many.
For sure.
But
for sure.
Either way, I'm not one to have a Hitler tattoo. I'm not going to act like he was a great guy or he was a bad guy. Because guess what? I wasn't there.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to believe a Rockefeller, Rothschild story on the war. Get the fuck out. That's the stupidest thing. And they lie to you about everything.
Yeah. You know what's wild is like I got really into like Gnosticism and things like that to learn and study. And what really turned me off to it was when I start finding out like a lot of the people that were the main people pushing it were all being funded by the Rothschilds in the moment in time. And I'm like, why the fuck? Why do I gotta, what? Why? You know? Okay, one big thing. The biggest thing out of the whole not aside from Kiribati, dude, you're from Chicago and you asked homegirl, hey, I'm a journalist from San Bernardino. Are you in San Bernardino? Or do you know San Bernardino? I grew up there. That's where I was born and raised.
It wasn't me speaking.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was like, yo, I grew up in Riverside and Colton. Like, what the fuck? Like, he's all the way at Yale talking about San Bernardino.
Yeah. Look, man, sometimes you gotta, the people to do the job is not always down the street sometimes, but.
Oh no, I get it. I just was like.
Yeah, going to Yale and all that. It's a little scary, man, because that's, you know, she is a prestige Skull and Bones member.
Oh yeah. And that's just one of those clubs on that campus that are all entangled. And that you being there after that, they all knew.
They know what's going on. Listen, man, I'm not going to name names of who said what and who was there and who went up to her, and it's not about that.
Oh no, you're good.
It's about the simple fact that I don't talk about this too much, but soon as let's just put it this way, soon as the cameras were out of the area when she disappeared, slammed the door.
Yeah.
Soon as off the premises, random phone calls coming in. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't even want to get more details than that. But random phone calls, guys. So yeah, and again, it pisses me off when people go, "Oh, that's not her. They look different." Oh, shut up! Like, are you kidding me? Like, if that's not her, then you go, "Wait, what conspiracy? What are you talking about?"
Right.
And even if you go, "Oh, that." Listen, look, hold on. I'm sick of this. Look, I have family photos on my phone. Just end it. Fucking end it, Judith. But the silent treatment. And the walking that way and then being lost at your own university, not knowing where to go, and then storming that way and slamming a door. Not a good look, Judith. Not a good look. And I'm sick of the people that go, well, she didn't say. Like, what do you expect? You think she's, yeah, that's me. I lied to everyone. I'm in a witness protection program. So right now they're going to pull my head off. They're going to literally chop my head off for speaking to you. What do you think she's going to do? Yeah. And Michael J. Smith said way too much to me. I think no one's heard of him or seen him around since. I'm not gonna sit there. I hope he's okay. I
understand.
But something's going on, man.
He's hiding. I feel.
Or he's not here, guys. Let's just be real, because he said too much. And
that's the one that was like, I know he looks like me, and we got the same name, but
we look alike.
Not me.
The only evidence that it wasn't him was, oh, we have different backgrounds. Really? Listen,
you guys got to get out of here. My wife's almost home.
You're at your fucking house.
Yeah.
And listen, you can't. No one in the audience could be like, oh, well, that was just a random thing. No, he admitted that people blow him up every month,
all the time,
and he turns them into the feds.
And people change their backgrounds all the time depending on what job they're applying for. You know what I mean?
Yes, but Marisol, why would you, if I was bothering you that you were a government agent or something, and you actually weren't, you wouldn't tell a camera in your face, yeah, people do this to me all the time, and I just called the FBI?
Yeah. Well, not only that, but it's like, if you're under
you're a fucking professor.
How many How many witness protection instances do they keep the same name?
Right.
Listen, man, I'll tell you, and people get thrown. That's why, in my opinion, people get thrown off just because of that. If Judith Resnick's name was Samantha Smith and Michael J. Smith's name was, Bart Johnson, it's the most random name I can ever think of. But then it would be harder to prove, right? But it would be.
But they'd be like, we got to look at their ears. Their ears are the same.
Hear me out. It would be easier for me. It would be easier long term. It would be easier for the masses to go, oh yeah, that makes sense. They changed their name. True. Oh look, oh they have the same name. It's just a coincidence. There's no way they wouldn't change their name if they faked their death. Yeah, they didn't change their name because they didn't need to, guys. There was no YouTube back then. There was no internet, really. There was nothing going on that made them feel like in 1985 that if I move Judith Resnick, a very homely-looking woman, that even if people go, oh, she was a knockout during NASA days. No, she wasn't. You did not do the research I did. She had Madonna makeup on, glamour VH1 makeup on 24/7 in the spotlight. But not in the spotlight, the normal woman, Judith Resnick, very homely, very unattractive. They did everything that Hollywood can do, which they do it all the time, the celebrities. Make them look, take a 5 and make them an 8 for the public. They did that with Judith. I think she's a hard 4. But here's my point. As an adult, they let that ugliness shine. They knew how ugly she was, how unique, weird looking she was, that they had to do all this shit to her every day of the year for NASA's Challenger and do her little wave, make her as glamorous as possible, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, oh, she blew up. No one's thinking about what does she look like 5 years from then. I think I saw a lady that looks similar in Maine or something. No one's going to do that, guys. The whole world had no possibility of realizing that even when you go to the college and you're like, all right, well, who's our professor for this term? Professor, I don't care if this was 1990 is my point. Yeah. Professor Judith Resnick. Maybe someone would go, that name sounds familiar. But in reality, guys, even if someone thought it, there's no rumors about it. There's no connection. This is the 90s, the early 2000s. She's completely safe in the witness protection program. Michael J. Smith in that house, completely safe. He could be in Nebraska. It doesn't matter where he is. He's safe because even his own neighbor will go, hey, how you doing, Mike? They don't go, wait, you have the same name as a guy that looks similar to you when you were young. No one thinks that way ever. Literally, they know. No one's ever going to think that.
I was just talking to a friend today about the success of Taylor Swift, and I'm like, you have no idea how much money is pumped into these kind of people.
Dude, her dad owned her production studio.
Yeah, I'm like, hundreds of millions of dollars are pumped into these kind of people, and you don't understand that, and it's for an agenda. And the reason why she sells out and the reason why she can afford all this is because she has the best marketers. She has the best of the best, and they're pumping everything they can. She doesn't even write her own music, and it's like, if that's happening now and people can't realize it, it's still, it happened back then and they still didn't know what was going on. Like,
they still, they from JFK to the moon landings, to the Challenger, to 9/11, to George Floyd, there's
smoke and mirrors. I got that too. Dude, how did you get involved with Miriam Heinen getting on the George Floyd with the real timeline? I know you did one too. I can't remember what it was called.
Psychological Operation was
Psychological Operation. Well, and that was in like 2020, right? When you released that one?
That inspired her to look even further into it. She's a journalist by nature. And when she saw Psychological Operation, all my films are on HibbelerProductions.com, anyone listening. But Psychological Operation, I blew it open with the George Soros, the Black Lives Matter, the psyop behind it, that the simple fact that it's a Freemasonic sacrifice, whether George is dead or not, is literally, sorry for the communities that get offended, but it doesn't fucking matter. He was a part of it. He knew what was happening. He fucked up his lines so many times on camera. I can't choke. Oh, I mean, I can't breathe. Did you just say that on camera? And I'm supposed to believe this is real right now? I can't choke. I mean, I can't breathe. Oh, that's hilarious. So I started looking at that right away because it was right in the middle of the start of the lockdown. I'm like, what are they doing now? They're trying to get people mad about racism while sad about and fearful about a virus. This is total control. And it started not with George Floyd. It started with Kobe.
Yeah.
You get everybody
that
sad.
Was the first thing,
Yeah, you get everybody sad based off of the crown, the Corona crown tattoo man. You got to kill him, and we'll just crash a random small baby blue looking helicopter in the middle of the field.
Which, if you follow the company that ran that helicopter, had already had a couple of those already happen. So and now just disappear after the fact. But
all I'm saying, I'm not saying Kobe faked his death or he was a part of anything. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm just trying to say, if you critically look at it, Kobe Bryant's helicopter, guys, was a giant black Nike.
Yeah, the Black Mamba
chopper. The black. Thank you. The Black Mamba. He took his daughter to basketball practice that's his chopper. They go everywhere in LA. Okay, I'm in Cali. They go everywhere out there. All of a sudden, a small blue chopper blows up And
from some charter company that's no name that's already had crashes in it.
Yeah, so I was already, and then those cartoons saying Kobe died and explode, all this pre-programming, and then he was
numerology.
He was in this satanic cult with some kids' books and reading, and later in his life he was getting into dark magic and shit. So I'm like, okay, so either they suicided him and they just pinned it on a crash. They just crashed a chopper. It's not hard to do, guys, in the middle of nowhere, okay? So
you got me twisted right now. I think that the biggest freaking conspiracy is how the hell you keep that white hat so clean.
Because
I'm just keeping it real. With white hats, like the rule is don't freaking touch it.
It just stays here, man. I just keep it in the studio. I don't
okay.
I got a white hat for outside.
I'm looking at him just like, damn, dog. Like, how do I can't keep a white hat clean.
I used to get so much shit because I used to always rock my Adidas hat. Like, people buy, like, I get Christmas presents from family, Adidas hoodies or Adidas, because my whole life I just wore Adidas. I don't know. There's no reason behind it, guys. I just never got into anything else. I always liked Adidas stuff. So my presents from family and stuff has always been like an Adidas hoodie or a new pair of shoes or a hat or something. So I'm like, oh, that's a cool hat. I wear it on my show. What the fuck, Hibbeler? You know Adidas is blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, my God, I can't even wear my Adidas hat without someone thinking I work for them or that I'm a shit.
Yeah,
I'm like,
okay, I get it.
Let me just wear my white, my black hats. I'm so sick of people, even truthers sometimes. Like, what are we doing?
I just had to say it, dude. As a guy that loves hats, I'm just like, damn, like, how the hell is that thing so clean? And another thing, too, you were talking about North Pole earlier, and this is kind of off, and you also mentioned, like, Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy. Have you ever heard about the history of, like, Santa Claus, the psychedelic history of Santa Claus?
Yes, I've dabbled with that. I've also dabbled with the fact that they introduced Santa Claus and attached it to the North Pole because of what's there. Again, when you control the future narrative of everyone, you have to get the North and South, and you have to do something to them. The South is just again, a cum stain, and you can't go there. There's penguins there. Don't go there. The North is like, it's just a sheet of ice. It's frozen. They make these Discovery documentaries we all see as a kid.
Okay. And, trip out on this. So both of my kids, they're 15 and 13, had a dream that they went to the center of the Earth through the North Pole. They both had that dream.
Nice.
And they were like, oh my God, you had that dream too. And they were like, going back and forth. I was like, there's an underground civilization down there, and they talk to us, and they're 15 feet tall, and they were telling me this, and I was like, what? You guys both had this dream? Like, wait, hold on. What's going on?
Hey, listen, the universe, the creator, whatever you want to call it, they're speaking to your kids.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
And now pull in the Ukraine and Russian war and what's between North Pole and Ukraine. Russia.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I would love to figure out not level part 4 or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be out for a year or two, guys. I have to go to Old World Order. I have to do this Tartaria film. I don't want to call it Tartaria film because it's not. Tartaria is one small piece of this giant lost history puzzle, but just for all intents and purposes, so your audience knows what I mean. The Tartaria film, Old World Order, coming next year. This is my bread and butter for now. I got to do all this research and all this flying and traveling and boots on the ground and going up to ruins and filming them and driving deep in a desert to see one building. Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of work, but I'm not gonna have April 22nd release again for another level, and I hope no one's upset with that. It's just, look, I made 3 films on the topic. I touch on different subjects on each of those 3 films. And so if someone wants to say, dude, you're giving up on Flat Earth or you're stopping, I'm never going to stop Flat Earth. I'm going to have a level part 4 in the near future. I'm going to attack it from a different perspective. I want to go to the north. The farthest north we could humanly, legally go, and then send drones over there. There's many things we could try to do as humanity. I'm not there yet, and I don't have the resources, or I definitely don't have the funding for any of that. And I'm not going to, I'd have to put together a fundraiser for like $100,000 to do so. I'm not going to do that, guys. But I will attack.
I mean, we can, though. I think we can.
Nah, you know what? Listen, I get hate from doing a $15,000 thing, and that's just hotels and flights, guys. That has nothing to do with all the other expenses to make a movie. I ask for help. I don't ask for, can you guys cover all this? Like, I ask for, can I have a little jumping start? And people look at 15 like I'm nuts. Like, oh, come on. I'm like, dude, Mariam Haneen told me That Vanishing of the Bees, her first initial journalist film or documentary that was taken off of Netflix for obvious reasons. They hate her. But her budget was over $1 million. And no offense, that's a great film. I look at that film and I'm like, oh my God, if I had $1 million to make a film, are you kidding me? I'm asking for 15,000. And people are like, oh, what the fuck, Hibbeler? I'm like, listen, dude, okay, let me quit the film game business and just do a 9 to 5, and then it's over. I have to wake the world up, and I have to do it by films, by motion picture, full feature films on different platforms, Vimeos, your My Movies Plus, if it can get on Prime, why wouldn't I try? I ain't gonna go, but I would try because my job is to wake up the masses, not support your truth should be free needs. The truth is free, motherfucker. It'll be on my YouTube channel for free soon. Don't worry. It will be free on Rumble and YouTube. Don't worry. For the truther I'm speaking to. But your neighbor, the one that calls you crazy, the one that says you're ludicrous and stupid and retarded and they want to disown you from their family because of it, that's the film I'm making for them. They should pay the $5 to rent the film, not you. I'll just email you as a truther. Here's the film. But it's for your neighbor because we all can agree on one thing, at least I hope. The normal person, the normal society, if you tell them, hey, there's a free video on YouTube, nope. But when you tell them, hey, rent this new film, it's on your smart TV, it's fucking insane, it's about our history, or it's about our earth, they treat that like every Prime movie they've ever rented. They've invested their credit card, they hit the $5. I know Prime's like $10, $12 half the time.
Or
but they hit the button. Yeah, exactly. They hit the button, and now, only now, will they pause that film to even piss. They're not going to pause shit on a free YouTube video. I'm sorry. I've been doing free YouTube videos for 7 straight years, and I have not seen the impact of the masses. I've only seen the impact of the niche community I'm in. I'm sick of that. And everyone listening that's a flat earther or a content creator or a big name or something, if you're only, and I'm talking to, if you're guilty of this, then I am talking to you. If you're only, and I mean the bigger ones, if you're only looking to wake up your own audience, your own channel, your own crowd, you're doing nothing anymore, guys. You did that back in the day. You woke me up. You woke a lot of people up. But you have to get uncomfortable sometimes. You have to go on shows that think you're stupid. You have to go on shows. You have to go out on the streets and talk to people. You can't just go, hey, I made a new video on the flat earth or on chemtrails or on something for my own subscribers. You're doing nothing for the world that thinks you're crazy. I'm doing everything I can for the world that thinks we're crazy.
So,
and I think, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, going back to Antarctica, nobody's tried to go journey through it again. Like, I know I've talked to like David Avocado Wolf and stuff, and like he was planning on doing that, but
ain't gonna happen. Listen, listen. I don't know what you think of Alex Jones. I'm not a big fan, but I'm just making a point. Okay, whether he's whatever, it's just still a factual point I'm trying to make. So take his status out of your head for 1 second, because I'm with you. But Alex Jones was fucking with Eddie Bravo for a while about the Antarctica, the ice wall. It's all bullshit. Eddie's crazy. Eddie, we're all stupid as flat earthers.
Now he's all like up in it.
I know, but now Alex Jones, this was not too long ago, he went out of his way to try his hardest to get something booked for Eddie and others to go so they could have a boat, because Alex got money, guys, especially back then.
Well, so for now, until the government tries to take it.
Here's my point. I don't know about all that. Either way, here's my
you know what I'm saying. Sorry.
I know. Here's my point, though. He actually, and I have this verified, okay? Whether you think whatever, he tried to actually book a ship, something, a big thing to go over there to legally go past. You can't. He found out the hard way that no matter how much money you have, no matter who you think you are, you cannot travel past the 60th parallel, period. And even if you want to visit Antarctica, they take you to a little peninsula south of South America, which is called the size of Texas. It's a pretty big state, right? So they bring you to a little 1% section of Antarctica. That's like saying, hey, I'm in California right now. Yeah, but so Florida looks nice from here. You can't.
Yeah, I remember. That's what you and Sam Tripoli were talking about.
And it's true, though. So These guys pay 20 grand to do a 1-week tour of Antarctica. It's all secured. You see a little fake barbershop, South Pole. You see a couple penguins, and then you go back home, guys. You're not going to go, hey, I'll be back in 5 years. Good luck. Every language will show you can't go past here. There's signs everywhere. You can't travel. It's Area 51 times infinity, guys. Yeah. So once you know that, as a human being, whether you think it's a twirling ball and I don't know, if you think you live on a globe, okay, you should still go, wait a minute, hold on. You're protecting the penguins. We literally can't go over there because of penguins. Look what you're doing to the Amazon. Look what you're doing to our national parks and wildfires, right? Man-made wildfires. They're doing it, not us. Yeah. So they don't care about the environment. They make up shit about global warming. They care less. They spray our skies. You think they care about the environment or penguins? Get the fuck out of here. What they care about is the possible exploration of humanity in the billions. Imagine if 5 billion of us went south and saw that there's 300 continents. Would you continue to live in the communist-controlled environment that you're in right now? No, and that's exactly what the Iron Republic book was about. They were sick of what we're in now. They got their ships, their crew together. This is an eyewitness testimony story from the 1800s. Okay, 1800s. They went, they got lost. They got through an inland in Antarctica because I think it's seasonal when something can open over there. They got through, ended up on another piece of land. They didn't know where they were. And these people call themselves the Iron Republic. Like we call ourselves Americans. They're the Iron Republic.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that about a certain time of season where something like opens up, and it reminds me. Do you remember old researcher Tracy Twyman?
The name sounds familiar for some reason.
She was following, and she was big on the Isaac Cappy thing, and put out some things. She had a book called Genuflect, and then ended up being found hung in her garage.
Right? I've heard the name, yeah.
So she was talking about, I can't remember the name of a mountain, but they were talking about
Mount Meru.
Yes, and it only could be perceived through certain frequencies, etc. Yep. So do you think that essentially that's kind of the same thing, right? It's almost like a natural portal like Twin Peaks, when they go in the forest, if you've seen Twin Peaks, and they go to like those trees and cross the barrier, and it's just like a curtain into the freaking Red Lodge or whatever the shit's called.
I'm a believer in knowing I don't know, but I also I'm also a believer, though. I hate believing, but in terms of this, I have to because it's speculation. But I am a firm believer, though, in that the North and possibly even past the 60th parallel, that you do have to be vibrating high enough to even be able to get in. But again, that's why they don't want anyone to know that there's stuff over there, possibly other humanoids, maybe blue human beings. I don't know. Maybe their sun is blue and their skin's blue. How would I know? They won't let me go. But the red flags, because the biggest thing is not just Admiral Byrd. Admiral Byrd said, hey, I went over there, and he came back on live TV and was like, hey, there's another continent the size of North America over there. No one's ever seen it. I can't believe it. They killed him. They started a treaty. They start NASA. The rest is history. We can't go. So it's like, wait, hold on. Before him, what was going on over there? Well, there's multiple books. Copyright right there in your face. Books from the 1800s when there really was no agenda with the Earth because everyone thought the Earth was flat. There was no globe education in our public schools until the Board of Education started, in my opinion, and that was Rockefeller's Board of Education. So before that, it was universal. The Earth's a stationary plane. No one really had Earth science because it was common knowledge. But then they bring this whole wave of shit in, and for me, man, it's pretty obvious that they just wanted everyone to feel insignificant. They wanted everyone to think there was no God, that we're so far. I mean, the closest star in the heliocentric model, get ready, I think it's 26 trillion miles away. So if the closest star, and by the way, the other stars are way farther, even though they're all right there in the same positions, but very close and small, by the way. But anyways, they tell you that the closest star is 30 trillion million light years away. Okay, so where's God now? If that star is that far, man, where's God? And I used to think of it as a kid, like, where the fuck is God at in this? Like, man, I still felt like there was one, but that's what they want, is they want, at the best, they want your child or you to believe in a maybe a distant God far away. Maybe. That's what they want. That's the most they want out of it, is a maybe. But with a stationary plane in the realm that we live in, it doesn't matter if there's 300 continents or 10. Trust me, there's more than 7. Doesn't matter, though. The realm that was designed for us is stationary. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful design system. It's a perfect clock in the sky. That's why every X amount of years, the exact eclipse happens. Every X amount of years, this eclipse happens. Every this happens. Everything. It's been going on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Your great-grandma saw the same stars as us. Her great-grandma saw the same stars as her. And keep going on and on and on. There is no parallax. There's no new stars. There's no brightness. It's the same thing in the sky doing its clock motion forever. I don't get how people think we're a random spinning 4-directional spherical pair object traveling billions of miles every year, trillions of miles, every year through space. But the same boring stars, again, went around our head this year. For me, I'm like, dude, we should see new stars every night. What are we talking about? But it's so much advanced garbage that it goes over everybody's head, and they short circuit. They're like, hold on, you said 36 trillion, and then you said light years, and then you said orbit, and then you said mass, and then I don't know what's going on. I just believe it, and that's the problem, is that when you dissect the heliocentric model, and you go, wait a minute, they said a lot of stuff. 93 million miles away is the sun? How'd they come up with that? And you look, and they go, well, there's absolutely nothing they've ever done to come up with that. You go, wait, okay, then why do we believe that? We believe it because it goes a part of their agenda that they don't want anyone to know that we should be going and exploring and finding. We should each own 100 acres to ourselves, unmolested, free energy, free water. This world, in my opinion, can provide that. But the rulers, there's not many of them, but they want you to think that your life consists of a 9-to-5, of paying taxes and dying of cancer. And that's it. That's just what it is. And no, I'm sorry. We should live to 150, 200 years old. And I'm here to try to elaborate that and show people how we can get our world back. And it all starts with, in my opinion, the old world and what they already had here, what was stolen from us by the Freemasons, which is why it's called Freemasons. They got Freemasonry everywhere. They claimed it to be theirs. They took the free energy, free water, free transportation system and said, we're going to charge for energy. We're going to charge for water and fluoridate it and poison them. And we're going to charge for travel. And we're going to tax. And we're going to start a space agency to really fuck them up. Now we're lost out of control. But now, as you can see, the world's coming back to fruition of truth. It's going to take time. But there has not been this much truth spoken out loud consciously in this world, I think, ever. So I think that we're right around the corner from an actual shift in consciousness, guys. Like an actual, we're not going to be living this type of world that much longer, the way everything is going. So. And I don't mean that in fear mongering. I mean that in heaven on earth soon, guys. And we're going to get there because they will lose this war. And I think they're already losing it. And that's why they freak out and they run around with like chickens with their head cut off.
They're reaching so bad.
Big time.
Well, you were talking about vibration, and I think frequency is vibration, and that's what I believe where I was coming from with the whole, as humans, we can only perceive 8% of the total universe, but through a different frequency, we might possibly be able to view more. I know we're on limited time, so I wanted to get to the Kiribati and trade routes, and I wanted to talk about that, and possibly if we have enough time, maybe you could talk about give the model of, for somebody who can't even perceive flat Earth, the flight path one with northern and southern hemisphere. That I felt was a really big one to try and help someone explain or understand.
And unfortunately, I've not touched the flight topics in any of my 3 films simply because it's not laziness. It's not information.
It's extensive.
It's not only that. It's mostly because there's already a film called Flatten the Curve. Okay. They're not Hibbeler Productions, so no one's heard. Go watch Flatten the Curve. The whole film is based off pilots, military, all experts that say the Earth's flat. It's a stationary plane. Here's documents. Here's coordinates. So Flatten the Curve. So when Flatten the Curve came out, it was in between my projects, and I know Vika. Vika was the producer of the film. I told Vika, I said, I'm not touching flights, dude. I'm not touching flights. You guys already nailed it.
Yeah.
So, but for your audience, real quick, because I'm running out of time. real quick, look this up, okay? And this kind of does link into Kiribati. It'll transition right into it. If you look at the globe, okay, now you can see the top half of that ball is what? The northern hemisphere. The bottom half of that ball is the southern hemisphere. So if you look at the top half of the ball, any continent that's on the top half of that ball, if you fly from this destination to this destination on the northern hemisphere, would you ever need to go to the southern hemisphere to come back around? No, right? And to your audience, just so you know, that's true. It's never happened once in any charted flight that a northern location going to another northern location went to past the equator south. That doesn't make any sense. So that's never happened. Makes sense. Everyone's like, what do you mean? Of course. Okay, so now where we get to the fun is southern hemisphere flights, southern hemisphere flights. When you take off from a southern hemisphere continent and go on the bottom of the ball to, I'm over here, sorry, and go around to the bottom and go to this continent, why would you ever have to go up past the north to past the equator north just to come back to your destination? And we all agree, well, no, you would never have to do that. Just like you admitted, why would you ever do that in the north? Same thing. You should just go from here to here. Doesn't happen. What happens is because they're using a globular map, which is all skewed. It's all everything's all misshaped, right? And they even admit that the sides of the continents in the globe are not the size of the continents. They actually give you like a little blue thing in the middle. It's like Greenland's completely different. Oh my God. But anyways, they stretch this around the ball and they make you think that, okay, so basically the flight that took off from south of South America that wants to get to the I'm actually not that good in geography. I went to public school. But the continent over there, right? So it basically, you're bobbing the ball, you're going here to China or something, you're going around this way. You have to cross here. You have to, in order to get to your destination. It doesn't line up on the ball. It's always, and
their excuse is typically like, "Oh, gas," but it's like, why the fuck do you gotta fly a third of your route for fuel?
It's bullshit.
And you could fuel in the air.
I recommend everybody go buy the book or get the free audio book or whatever you call it.
What's it called?
It's called, Emergency Flight Routes That Prove the Earth's Flat. Something like that. Basically, this guy, he got I'm talking about every piece of information from the pilot's name to the coordinates to the date to everything. Everything is charted for you in the book of emergency flights. So say you're taking off and you're going this way around the ball and you're like, hey, someone died or someone had a heart attack. We have to stop. They would stop somewhere on the ball 1,000 miles out of their way.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Meaning the destination that they were already on the way to is closer.
Yeah.
If you go out of your way, it's only on the ball they're out of their way. When you look on a flat map, a Gleason's map, more specifically, what pilots use, if you look on a Gleason's map and you draw a line from where they left, you draw a straight line, as always, shortest point. They don't do this like arced, like planes don't do this. They're straight level the whole time, which they should go to space because they never point their nose down. They point their nose up 0.2 degrees. So they should be heading off to Mars, right? But they don't. It's over a flat plane. But my point is that they would go 1,000 miles out of their way, but on a flat Earth map, it's literally right in front of them. That next city that's 1,000 miles out of your way on the globe, it's right in front of them. And they land at the airport. No questions asked. No one on the plane goes, why are we in Egypt? What the fuck? We were going over there. How are we in Egypt? Or how are we here? Or how are we in Maine? We were going that way. And it's like, oh, it makes sense. They're just...
Okay, sorry. We're on very short time right now.
Kiribati, real quick. Kiribati.
Yes, thank you.
Kind of a similar situation, though, is... that's why I want to do the flights real quick. Go watch David Weiss, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Go watch him. He does all those flight routes. He shows them all. He's brilliant with that. But with Kiribati, kind of a similar thing where you got this latitude and longitude on the ball, and it's
like out in the middle of the ocean, nowhere.
But it's not even that. It's the latitude and longitude, those lines they make, which never makes sense on the globe. They're always weird. But on a flat Earth, they're like perfect circles. But it's like the latitude and longitude of Kiribati is literally the center. It's like the center trade route of everything in the sense of the outer lands. So what happened is you go to the public charting websites, right? So just like airplanes, you can see where they are, even though in the southern hemisphere they'll disappear and then end up.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, where'd it go? I'm charting a plane, it disappeared. Well, yeah, I know why.
Ships do too. Yeah, I see that.
There you go. There it is. So we looked at ships. Dave Weiss specifically, he looked at ships, and he goes, wait a minute. There's a ship leaving, I think it was South America or something. There was a ship leaving a continent, so let me track it. Looks like it's going south to the ice wall, right? Or ice shelf, specifically. But let's follow it because it would have to stop because there's a shelf there. Or if you believe in a ball, it's a high plateau of the continent of Antarctica. Either way, you still have to stop your ship, guys, okay? You can't keep going on ice like, hey. And all of a sudden, we look at this chart, and all of these ships, they disappear, and they end up in the middle of Antarctica. And I'm like, whoa, everyone's like, whoa, hold on. Where are they charting from? We look, it's Kiribati Island. It's a fucking sandbar. It's in the middle of nowhere. Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars are sent there from China and the United States of America. Probably more countries, but that's all we know for sure. The U.S. and China give them, I mean, it's like billions of dollars. For what?
And the thing's tiny. There's like nobody there.
Well, that's what it is. I think it's a port, docking port, a shipping port. Whether they're trading, whether they're trading technology. Unfortunately, they might be trading humans, trafficking, children, gold, salmon. I don't care what. Any and
everything. Yeah.
So my point in that is that when you look and it ends up in the middle of nowhere in Antarctica, when you take that globe Earth bullshit and you put it right back down to the regular way of a flat plane, and now you got your Gleason's map explaining all the coordinates, and you go, okay, let's follow that, because just like with the flight routes, makes no sense on a globe. Makes perfect sense on a flat Earth. It's on the way. Why wouldn't they stop there? You don't know that, but it's on the way. One of them went over Russia, and they didn't stop because the woman was dead. It went over Russia. They couldn't land because the woman's dead in the plane. They kept going 6 hours. And they landed in another country, which was right by their destination. They could have just went to their destination and dropped their dead body off. The reason they didn't stop to help her is because they were over Russia, and they weren't supposed to be on the globe. And they know this stuff, guys. So it's all in the book. Here's my point. With the ships, it's the same situation. How did you get from this part of the globe to now you're in the middle of Antarctica, thousands of miles? Did someone pick your ship up and take you over there? No. What's happening is that I think there's inlands. They know seasonally when the inlands are going to open. And this is a complete, they probably, again, we can't go over there and look. We can't take pictures of that shipping route, okay? But if someone had the balls, you could legally do this technically. I'm sure they'll be all over your radar. But if someone got a nice cruise ship together and went to Kiribati Island and followed the ship back to somewhere, I'm sure you'll be stopped or whatever, radar. You're going to get fucked with. So I don't take my advice, but if you have
paid a captain to be part of the cargo.
If you have balls, that's another way to go see what's going on, because if that ship, and Dave Weiss looked this up, I don't know the measurements. He does. I'm talking gigantic ships, guys. Gigantic. That'll blow your mind when you see the size of these. What are you taking on that ship to a part of the world that is not publicly charted? There is no
bringing back.
I don't know, but again, look up the Grenada Treaty. Eisenhower signed something with another race of someone from somewhere. I think it all kind of adds up. They're all over there, whether it's the Iron Republic or the new Iron Republic or humanoids over there, whatever. And people are like, why don't they come over here? I think it's the same reason that we can't go there. It's just not allowed. They go over there all the time. We probably give them something they really need, and in reply or in response, you cannot. If you guys come to our Earthland, right? If any of you fuckers out here, because where's all the Hubbles? Where are all the major telescopes in the world pointing? They're not pointing up to your fake animation space, guys. They're pointing straight south to the 60th parallel. Every single powerful telescope around the world is pointing straight south past that ice wall. Why? So nobody comes into here. Thousands of miles on radar, guys. Ocean does not curve. They can see you from thousands. Marconi could see you from 1,800 miles away in 1901. Let's be real.
Yeah, that was only like 2,000 miles or something.
Yeah,
right?
no big deal, 2,000. So imagine 2023.
Yeah.
You think you're going to be able to buy ship or my little private 4-seater plane? Get the fuck out of here. You think you're going to be able to go over there and take pictures and video and shit? Go prove it, Hibbeler. It's a death sentence.
You out of the sky. Yeah.
It's a death sentence. The only way people go, well, then what's your purpose in life, Hibbeler? To bring attention to this treaty. Okay? Because people complain about trafficking. Granted, it's the biggest problem in our world in a sense, especially our children. People complain about that. People complain about chemtrails. They complain about false flags, our government, our news, our this, our fluoride, our water, our this, our that. It all goes away. Everything that you complain about in your life, about this world that you hate, would literally go away tomorrow if everyone walked north and everyone walked south. So that's why I talk about it. Oh, Hibbeler, you always speculate.
Well, there'd be no way to keep a new world order intact if none of us choose to be a part of that world that they construct.
Correct. And I'm sick of the truthers that say, Hibbeler, shut up about your speculation of more land. You're making the flat earth look bad. Are you kidding? Wait a minute. I have woken up more people to the earth is not a globe just because of the rumor of there's more land. They go, wait a minute, hold on. Now that makes sense. What do you got on this? And I got shit for days on this. The only thing I don't got on it is my fucking boot on the ground over there. But once you realize why I can't, maybe you'll join me in saying, I think we should. I think as human beings, listen, I'll end with this. If someone put a 1-block fence around your dog for the rest of his life, would he be pissed off? Yes. Would he know that there's something going on with that fence line? Yeah. But now let's talk about your dog for a second. You put a 200-mile fence around your dog. He might make it to that fence line one day. Does he really care? Not anymore. He might look back. He might go, wait, that's a little interesting over there. But you know what? This is great. But human beings are different. You could tell a human being, hey, man, like, yeah, you're in a 500-mile fence line. You're going to be there that day. What the fuck is over there? Are you fucking kidding me? Who are you to tell me not to? But I don't hear that from this. And this treaty is the biggest fence line since 1958. Yeah. And nobody wants to talk about it. And nobody wants to expose it. And nobody wants to challenge it. That's all I can do. And the only way I can challenge this treaty is by giving people hope, options, and accessibility to some it's a fantasy. To me, it's reality. That there's more land, possibly more humanoids, more types of people. Think about what an African American saw an Asian for the first time in the history of human beings.
Sean, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I fucking promised you 60 minutes and we're already over, and I don't want to be that guy.
That's all right. I still got 5 minutes realistically, so let me just finish this.
I just don't want to be the asshole.
I know. No, you're not, dude. I do this every time. I never give myself a break to even drink water. I got to go on another show. But here's the thing. If imagine that though, right? It could be an Asian and an African American. It could be a Caucasian and a Indian.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the race.
Columbus, when the fucking Indians first seen him, they thought they were ghosts on the ocean.
Yeah, even though he discovered America. Someone was.
No, he didn't.
Here's my point. I know.
Yeah. No, I know. You know.
I think he was made up anyways. But here's my point though. Here's my point. Is the first time this type of person saw this type of person, they're probably like, what the fuck is going? Wait, you have a nose. You have teeth too? Do you shit? Oh, yeah. Like, what the fuck? You look nothing like me.
Right. Oh, you guys are Rosicrucians? I see the flags on the front of your ships.
Exactly. but again, they go, but we are the same. You have nails? Yeah. I have nails. I think it's the same thing over there, guys. And I think those people, not saying that they're in slavery kind of like we are, but they might be. I don't know. But I think there's going to be a time in our life and coming soon that full disclosure's coming, guys. Full disclosure in our lifetime. I promise you. I know my creator does not lie to me in my mind. It's going to happen. And this is why I'm here. This is why I do what I do, because it's not for credit. It's not to go back and say, see, I told everybody. No. It's to raise awareness so that maybe one day and soon humanity, instead of Writers Guild protesting in California, instead of protesting against whatever, rainbows. I don't know what anybody does anymore. maybe humanity can go, wait a minute, we have a fence line around us and we're sick of everything inside of this fence line already. Everything is fucked up here. What can we do? This is all we can do, in my humble opinion. We could talk about the government and their false flags and show it, and that does nothing. Once human beings, boots on the ground, march billions north to see those 4 continents and probably the answer to how our sky works in our system, and then south, who knows what's over there? Maybe there's 1 continent, guys. I don't care. We need the ability to go, because once that happens, let's say there's 30 continents, 40 continents. Are there any more universities running? It's over. Are there governments open and running and operating the people's minds anymore? No, it's done. Literally, humanity will never need the media, the government, or education again. We found our truth. We can do this ourselves, guys. All I can do is raise awareness. And for people like you and having shows and having me on, that's all I can do is raise awareness. Anyone could judge me from afar and go, oh, yeah, there's more land. This fucking idiot. Go watch my films. And at that point, if you have a rebuttal based off of things past the 60th parallel or things in the north, I'd love to hear it. But there's a reason they cover this stuff up, and there's a reason they call me a lunatic, because if you knew about this, then everything in your life that you complain about in this world, whether it's the sky, the water, or the ground, I'm sick of you. If you, not you, but if you, I'm sick of the people,
I get it.
I'm sick of the people that complain about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I have a solution.
What the fuck, Sean? I complimented your white hat.
I know. I have.
I'm kidding.
I actually have a solution. As ludicrous as it might sound to you and your audience, that's the actual solution. And I don't think there's a better one, unless humanity goes north and south. This shit's gonna keep going, and I think that this is why the flat Earth and the shift and all this stuff is happening, and the exposure and the disclosure and the now there's satellites on balloons because China's balloon, like, it's all disclosure coming, soft disclosure. And I think humanity is going to be around in the near future soon for full disclosure and heaven on earth again, guys. And that's what I want, and I think we'll get there.
I know you gotta go, dude. You gotta check this book out.
Okay.
By Chris Bledsoe. Chris Bledsoe. He actually, if you go on History Channel today, they released it, but he was on Beyond Skinwalker, and he was able to tell them, all right, look, there's going to be an orb right there that shows up in the sky, and it showed up, and they put the headgear on him, and it was actually going where he would go into deep theta state and be communicating with these things showing up. Check it out. Could you please give everybody links to find you? I know you're on short time. You already went over. I greatly appreciate you, dude. We love you so much, man.
Thank you. And yeah, just HibbelerProductions.com. Everything is. I made it as simple as possible. And for those that want to show support or love, that's why I have my website. Most of my films are $2 to rent. That's your donation. People always go, how can I donate? How can I support? I know you have no job. That's why I do it that way. A lot of my stuff's free on Rumble and YouTube. But again, if you want if you like swear words, it's not censored. If you like high definition, that's why I have a website. That's the one-stop shop where it's like, hey, because people back in the day would go, how do we donate to you? And I was never comfortable with that. But then I thought, okay, instead of donating to me and you get nothing in return, which is how donations usually work, I said, look, I'm not going to put a 10, 20, 50, 100 button. I'm going to put all my films on there, whether it's $2 or $5. That's your donation. But now you get something in return that now you can share to the world. It's yours. You download it. You can. So I always tell people, go to my website, look around. If there's a rabbit hole you want more information on, share your $2 for me, and I appreciate that. It does go a long way. And now you own a copy, and you can do anything you want with it. You can put on a DVD and give it to someone for Christmas. You can do anything you want. Yeah. And that's what keeps me eating and able to travel and film and documentize everything. So HibbelerProductions.com, and obviously, I mean, YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble. I got free stuff everywhere. But it's just for the people that want to support. That's how you support me. And that's where all my news is, everything I'm doing, all my new trailers, all my new things that I'm be working on. Old World Order's coming out soon, guys. 2024 is target date. I got some big names in this one, some really, really credible researchers, top of their game in this. I don't even want to drop any names, but I got some good guys. This is like level for that topic. So it's going to be a really
awesome,
but a documentary style, boots on the ground. We're actually heading to San Francisco soon to get some of this stuff filmed. So yeah, that'll be OWOfilm.com, not NWO. Fuck the NWO. This is the Old
Our
World
World?
Order film, yeah.
Oh, Old World. Okay.
Old World Order. So
Our World, motherfucker.
It's Old World Order. The movie's called Old World Order. I just started
I love
pre-production.
that.
And yeah, so that'll be owofilm.com. But either way, everything's on hibbelerproductions.com. If you want to support, or you just want to check the website out, I got a lot of free stuff on there, a lot of links, a lot of stuff. Me and Joe Baum and King Bao, we have a nice little video we made together called We Want the Names. It's a Jimmy Kimmel challenge. Please go check that out. We call it the Pedophiles in Hollywood.
I think I've seen that.
It was viral, so you might have.
Yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, we want the names, Jimmy.
Yeah, it was like on TikTok, huh? It was like going
where's the list,
TikTok.
motherfucker?
Where's the list?
Where's the list, motherfucker?
I did see that. I was like, go.
And this is why I do what I do. I do, and people like Bao inspire me to not just go all in, but strategize, compute, strategize, Project Veritas, figure something out. Don't just go in blind. What are we doing for this film? So he's my guy now. He's always in my head to help me calculate things. How do you get it viral? How do you get the masses to actually watch it? And this is what Justin did in Level with me with these viral moments and stuff. So I'm learning along the way, but hopefully with this next film, this next film will do well, because it's not flat earth theory. It's history where it's like even a Glober can watch. And then maybe watching that one, they'll go back and watch the Level.
We're on the same frequency, because we just changed the name of our podcast from Conspiracy, Crime, and Music to Bread and Circuses, because we want it to be an unlearning. We are not going to be pigeonholed in conspiracies anymore. We're like, it's all unlearning. So we're on the same vibe. We're on the same frequency. We're going to share everything you just said. We're going to put it all the links. I'm going to post it on my Instagram. We're going to just...
Bro, open door policy. You want to talk? Let me know. Let us know. You got it.
Sure, and if you ever want me on in the future, just let me know, man. I'll come back.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
I got a lot. Why do you think I always go over? Because there's just so much information going on.
There's so much. Yeah.
You know what? I forgot to ask you, and I'll save it for the next time we talk. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color.
It sounds funny, but there's like a whole like spiritual, psychological, philosophical thing that I came upon.
Hi, I'm Sean Hibbeler. I'm a Virgo, and my favorite color.
Wait, are you really a Virgo?
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
In September.
Oh, okay. I'm an August Virgo.
Okay, so I'm a Virgo, and my favorite color is blue.
Okay.
And, I've always liked blue. Blue now it means more to me than ever before, because it is our ocean above, and it represents so much in my life, and the ocean below, and just water. Everything's like I've always been blue, just blue. Everything's blue. So blue. I like black and blue. I mean, I don't know. I just
I get it.
I think we just became best friends, because that's my favorite color, and I'm also a Virgo.
I'm orange, but we could still be best friends. We're not friends. We're fucking brothers.
We can be friends, man. I appreciate you guys for having me on. I want to thank you both for having me on.
Thank you, man.
I want to thank your audience for taking the time, and instead of judging, go watch some films and get off of Netflix, guys.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Dude, thank you so much, man.
Thank you both.